I work from scrapbooks, I work from drawings, I work from my imagination. It's a combination of all of those things. So what I arrive at isn't, you know, it's not traced to any particular one source, it's several sources. The figures are kind of fictitious, they're made up, but they're sort of composites of scrapbook kind of found images and imagination. So there's a lot of improvisation that goes on while I'm actually painting. It's hard to know exactly how it's going to look at the end, but I do kind of stick within certain parameters, and each time I have a particular kind of, I suppose, goal for that work, whether it's something to do with colour or light or form in some way. I tend to stick to making the work in one day, and so that could mean, you know, it might spill over into another day, but by that point I've reached a stage where I can actually, you know, leave it overnight and come back to it. You know, that happens, but the rule of keeping it to that was really about retaining something both in the quality of the mark and then also in my own mind. I just got used to thinking a certain way about the process of making each work. I think as I was saying before about the scaling, like the scale of the works was really important for me this time, and as I said, I find this particular scale, this kind of mid-scale of most of the works, quite difficult. I also find it quite difficult to work on this very small, quite intense scale. And I think what I've been trying to do a lot more recently is build each painting out of colours in some way. And so that sort of changes the undertone of each of the skin. And it almost becomes quite sort of scientific in that way, that there's, you know, it's all about this kind of balancing of different colours. And for me, it was really about that. It was about sort of, for me, it's one of the ones that I really enjoyed the actual construction of it most. And then obviously with these, you know, it being quite a tight group, there is a sort of a similarity between them. You're supposed to kind of read across them. There are occasionally, you know, there are sometimes things that are sort of perhaps like stories, but in my own mind, they're not that useful to anyone else, and they're not that specific. I think the thing really for me is often about, I suppose, as trying to evoke a particular sense of a narrative or a particular sense of something without it being extremely specific to anyone else necessarily. There are often pointers, like, you know, some of them might look like dancers. I like this idea of a sort of ordering to something, you know, this sequence, you know, as kind of something that covers many things but essentially works to a certain logic. And in a way, that's partly how I kind of conceived of the group, was very much as a group. I mean, for me, that was the link for me anyway, was the idea of the encyclopedic as this kind of ordering. It's not a way that I always work, but it is a way that I've worked before, you know, and it's something that I like to do, is work work on groups of things, bodies of work, and there being this link, and them sort of making a certain sense or having a certain narrative across them rather than in one particular piece. And this link to language as well is quite important to me.